All right, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if the sound's coming through, okay? It should be. Looks like it is. So, yeah. I'll wait for that confirmation. But overall, wow, what a snoozer. What a snoozy morning. Sounds good. Thank you, Nero. Yeah, I mean, look at these movements. 10, 60. I guess 60's okay, right? 60's all right. 3, right? Yesterday, that one was a big one. 3, minus 47. I guess that's all right. Minus 32, 8, minus 35. None of these are going to be earth-shattering numbers. And then again, pound yen with the biggest total, 84. But again, it's retracing actually in the last 60 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, we expected the day to be a really, really slow day. Again, yeah, the whole week is lesser volume. With FOMC tomorrow, and again, really not really any kind of crazy news or anything. We did expect it to be much, much slower today. Even kind of some of the news headlines, not even really many news headlines out today. Starting in the morning, we had the CAD data. We knew that the CAD data was coming in. It was expected to be lower than expected, and it was maybe a little bit higher than what the overall forecast was. But is that is it so far out of the ordinary that it should be like a major market mover? Nah, not really. For the most part, there were some adjustments last time, and I think overall it's more or less coming in as expected. I wouldn't say that there's a major change with that one. The manufacturing index is going to come in a little bit. Again, the manufacturing data has been pretty suspect, so we'll see. Messer's already made some comments, and again, we know that some of these are not really necessarily going to be big movers because where they're speaking at. But Messer made some comments, I guess, yesterday, this morning, maybe late last night. I don't know, something like that. Basically made some comments about how, the Fed needs to, inflation is not under control yet. That the Fed needs to get that, they need to get it under control before they even think about, slowing down, or, pausing or anything like that. So, I guess okay comments, but like I said, it is such a slow kind of week right now, just because of the holiday. Looking in the overnight, you can see, not really a whole lot of big news. Nothing there, right? Nothing earth-shattering. It's like, oh god, we're trying to do things. Tsunami warning, right? Maybe tsunami warning, right? 7.3 earthquake, right? That's a big deal. But is it going to have repercussions everywhere? No, it'll be more locally based. And then if it doesn't come in as bad, then again, we'll kind of dissipate very quickly. Yeah, U.S. Fed seasonal weakness. I mean, These are normal things that we would see for today. So nothing earth-shattering again on the news front. So not even headlines. I think the best headline I got was, I guess McCarthy is, campaigning to get voted in as the speaker. And he's already said, promised that like he will remove 3 Democrats from committees. I think that's the hottest news of the morning. It's kind of like, there's your drama for today, right? I'm going to remove 3 people that are, very anti-Republican. People are like, oh, that's just wrong. That's so petty. It's like, really? I don't know. You guys create commissions with just one side of the aisle, or people that support your narrative. Wouldn't that be petty also? And that's it. So, yeah. I mean, there's not even any, we don't even have like Jerry Springer news this morning. So, yeah. There's like nothing here. Right. So anyway, tomorrow morning, we do actually have some news that comes in tomorrow morning. So, a little bit different stuff. I mean, it's all our flash data, our services and manufacturing. It doesn't right now, looking at any of these totals, I think the big one yet you see for France, it's expected to get really, really close. It's coming down to that 50.6 number. And again, why that is important is because it shows a contraction. It's showing an upward revision, but again, 50 means, hey, listen, if it goes below 50, we're contracting. You're seeing contracting. Again, looks like they're getting a little bit lower in Germany. The pound, obviously, we know they had problems there. Again, staying about even. We have the U.S. data. Now, the U.S. data, they're saying that manufacturing may actually go under as well. Services is already there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have seen data that has been a great manufacturing data point, and then all of a sudden we get one that is horrible. So where will that end up? I don't know, but that'll give us something that's potentially tradable tomorrow. Is it going to be like earth-shattering news? No, but just remember that tomorrow there will be such low volume, being a Wednesday. Again, the volumes are definitely lower right now, but because it's Wednesday, people are officially, they're there'll be people that are out. So even lesser volume tomorrow than what we would traditionally see. So this guy's gonna. All right, I see. All right, let's see. One sec. I gotta pop up over here. What? No. All right. So obviously tomorrow, core durable goods will be a big deal. The question is, I mean, at 8:30 in the morning, will it kind of maybe give us something at the open if there's a surprise? Yeah, potentially it could. Is it going to be change of the day, huge surprise? No, because FOMC is sitting right there as well. With FOMC there, it's going to be a bit more, I'd say, muted. As you know, it's typically what happens. You're always going to see that type of muting effect in there. So, 8:30 tomorrow morning, core is not going to necessarily be a big deal, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Beyond that, let's see. Home sales? No. Home sales, not going to be a big one. FOMC, okay? FOMC, maybe. I don't think they're going to change too much from what they have already said that they were going to do. We may get more kind of an idea of if it's going to be 50-50, 50-25-25. I don't think we're getting 75 at this point. I think the consensus is basically 50, and I think 50-50 is probably where we stay. Now, right now, like I said, the overall general consensus yesterday was going to be that it was going to be 50-25-25. If that's what they announce, I actually don't expect too much market movement because that's kind of what the market already expects that it's going to be. And again, remember, markets move because we get surprises. That wouldn't be a surprise because that's what the consensus is. But I think if we get the 50-50, I think that's enough of a difference where, could we get a little bit of movement? Sure. But again, think about this. It's 2 p.m. The day before Thanksgiving. Right? So how many traders are truly going to be in the market? How many institutions and banks are truly going to be in the market? How many people are going to be in there dealing with it? So, could we get, a low volume based move? Maybe. But I don't think it's going to be anything that we're like, yep, this is awesome. Do this, man, we're going. It's going to be an amazing rocking day. So, unfortunately, there's not much we can do there. So, with that said, let's go over. And again, look at that. Nice little drop there in the Russell. Look at that. Was there a bit of news that we just missed? We'll take interest rates to the restrictive level. We already knew that. Nah, not yet. But nice little push up there. Anyway, here's where we're working with the VIX, and again, a typical kind of VIX response right now. Not really any news, lower volume, no major headlines, no earth-shattering problems. So again, what do you see? You see the markets, the VIX ticking down a little bit. And again, with nothing today. Maybe it creeps up a little bit in the overnight preparing for FOMC, but I don't think there's going to be enough there to really trade much of it. Dollar's not necessarily moving much. Right now, kind of chopping back and forth. The European session did rise it up just a little bit. Is that a true session-based move or, a session-based kind of control move? Not really. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it basically went 3 o'clock was here. We went down. We hit 5:30. We reversed back up. We're in the same exact spot. So not really anything major. And again, with a gap sitting kind of just above us at 107, is FOMC going to be able to raise it? I say a lot of that's going to depend on how the Europeans kind of treat it tomorrow, right? Remember, Thanksgiving, although Canada has one because they kind of borrowed it from us, not really a nationally or internationally recognized holiday. Not many people, celebrate, landing on Plymouth Rock. It's not kind of it's not one of those holidays. So there will be people trading the European market. The question is, are they going to kind of mess with the dollar without the dollar trader? So we'll see. Commodities. Oil, it is back up again. And again, I thought there was so much selling yesterday. I was kind of surprised by that one. I was looking for somewhat of a retracement. Overall, I still think, again, it's something to be cautious. I'm waiting for that China news to kind of just drop that, yep, we've locked down. It's worse than expected. And again, the United States, if that manufacturing number does actually go below 50, showing that we have a contraction in our economy, you may actually see oil drop down a little bit. So, but again, there was so much movement in it yesterday, all the way down to 76. I kind of expected it. Natural gas also reversing a bit right now. It's an okay move. Nothing earth-shattering there. Gold and silver, both up a little bit. And again, I think that's because the dollar overall in the last day. That's why I left this up right now. The dollar overall, kind of lower than where we were. So it's an easy way for it to retrace. And again, I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out, what is the Fed going to say tomorrow? Are they going to talk about and lay out what the slowed down move is? And I don't know. My opinion on it is I think 50-50 makes the most sense that they do 50, 25-25 because, they don't want to push too far. Again, the end result is the same. It doesn't make any difference. It's fine either way. I don't think inflation is done. And I think, with where China is right now, I think the biggest threat right now, if anything, we should be, sending money to China. Send them vaccines. Do whatever we got to do because if China shuts down again, it doesn't matter what the interest rates are. That supply chain there, that lower supply, it's going to increase demand, and when demand increases, price increases are going to happen as well. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. As far as the Aussie dollar goes, so Aussie dollar yesterday, we marked off a level up here. We talked about a 23.6 retracement. Now it did go a little bit lower, so I left it on here. But as far as, being an actual tradable level, it did just bounce off of there, and we did like it. It was a level here that we did see basing. We had a confirmation, and we liked it at the 23. It didn't actually get back up there, so kind of a weird way to play it. It did go lower, right? It did go lower, and we can take this and drag it down if you guys want. It does change it, and you can see that right around the 23.6, it did kind of hit it and go through, but not enough for an actual trade. It ended up going back up to the same level we marked off. Now, the high actually was 66.51. 7. So we'll just round it up to 66.52. We talked about getting short at 66.50. We mentioned the level there. It's not quite out yet if you had taken a short from this one and used that entire level. Right? Let's see. That would have been about 10 pips worth of risk. 30 is sitting right there. So rather close. It's not too far away. Obviously, it's a little bit too late to get into it right now. With the session rollover, this one may be a little bit more dangerous just because, again, we have profit taking that comes in right when the sessions roll. But that's kind of where we stand. Is this kind of the new move? Are we going to see the Aussie suddenly get all this strength? I don't know that I'd say this is a major kind of bottom for it. I think for right now, I think it could be a temporary bottom, particularly with FOMC tomorrow. People are pretty hesitant to trade the dollar when you see that. But right now, all we saw really since yesterday was a pop up. And now we're starting to see that pop up back down again, signifying that there's really not much difference right now. Really not much move, not much of a trend, right? It's a whipsaw. That's all it is. And it was basically only whipsaw of 30 pips up and 30 pips back down again. That's kind of all we got, right? I'm trying to think, is there anything else beneficial right now with this one? Not really. I wish I had more for you on this one, but I really don't. So again, you're almost there. Aussie. So we talked about 94 flat, and you can see this one came up to 94.001. So yes, it did tag it. Actually, I'm sorry, 94.025. So by 2.5 pips, we made this one. And it's the same trade. This one, obviously, if we extend it across again, you can see that it did come back up. It did hit it again. And it did go all the way back down again. So it is beyond, and now it's kind of stabilizing itself as well. So again, nice little, what was this? 10 for 30 again. So there's 60 pips between those two. I know it's not major movement, but we talked about position sizing being more important. Now, right now, we are kind of, if I take some fibs on this one, I just want to kind of give you an idea of where it is standing overall. Kind of in this last push up, we're floating right around the 50. There are buyers there. Do I like that for reversal? Not really, but know that there will be some artificial kind of algorithm-based buyers coming in there, as well as with the session rollover. We got to kind of see what's going on. Now, again, the mention of a tsunami is a big deal for Japan. It's not like it's like an American nor'easter or something, a hurricane in the Gulf, right? There's a tsunami, right? When they hear that word, it always is a little bit hard. Now they are seeing some strength from it, and there's a couple of different reasons why for that. But I would say right now, this is probably a combination of both. We're seeing the same move in both the Aussie dollar, Aussie yen. So there is some Aussie play here as well. What do you do with it right now? Kind of in the middle of the range. Unfortunately, when we're in the middle of the range, it always does make it a little bit more difficult. Why? Because, again, there's no major buying and selling typically in the middle. So a little bit of a pop. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues to roll down and we stay with the trend today. If you are short overall, make sure you get at 93.30. But again, it did come back up and grab the top side of that the channel that we had marked off from yesterday. So, I expected today was going to be much, much lower than yesterday. That's why I'm not super excited about any of the setup on this one right now, because I just don't think there's really a whole lot in this one right now. And I think we're going to have a hard time finding a lot today, to be honest with you. It's just, again, it's the Friday. It's the day. It's the day before FOMC, which is one knock against it, and it's 2 days before Thanksgiving. So, yeah. Euro dollar. So, euro dollar. We are officially up 0.19, right? So 10 pips from where we were yesterday. Yeah. So basically, yesterday morning. Actually, where were we? I need the changes. That's why. We are sitting here. So it's going to change in a little bit, right? Because actually, I guess it moved a little bit, right? So we're up a little bit, right? Didn't get all the way back up. You can see that it kind of got front run here. That was a bottom yesterday morning at 12. Actually, I guess the 12 o'clock was the bottom. Came up, didn't really, kind of just chop through. We're still waiting for this one, and I think this is still a decent level. Nothing's really changed because we're 10 pips off from where we were, right? So right now, I would say watch out. There is going to be a soft level sitting right down here. I don't know that I use it at all. It did actually have a lower bottom than what we saw before by just a few pips, like very, very tiny. So that could be a soft bottom to maybe take it lower. But right now, I think we're going to be more range bound for this one until we get any kind of definitive action about what's happening for tomorrow. Right. And again, it is going to be a holiday, so I don't even think we're going to get anything major coming out of it. What was that? Oh, no, I'm not going to take the phone call. So that's what we have going on. Euro dollar, really not much. And again, we're 10 pips in 24 hours. So again, a little bit up, a little bit down, not much movement. And I think the 103.04, if we can get up there, would be a decent level as well. Now, this also may happen for tomorrow as well. Remember, exports actually help your economy a bit. So tomorrow morning, if the Europeans take this one, if we're able to grind up there today, they may actually force dollar strength back in again because it hurts the U.S., and without really like a major U.S. session there, they can't really kind of block it or anything. All right, so there's the euro dollar. Euro pound. Now, this one is continuing. We talked about hitting a profit target, and I kind of like this one we're at right now. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. Okay, we came back up again and kind of hit that level, and again, we got the drop coming down again. It's the same trade. We talked about the Harry Potter in. There was your second trade. There was another opportunity at 10:30. Rolled back down and hit a profit target at 86.57. Now, we did base here, which is great. I love the fact that it based here. I'm good with that one. The reason why I like the fact that it based there is because what it shows us is that there were definitely buyers there. knowing that there are buyers is great because now the price has been able to hit them again and finally blow through, which means old becomes new. So we can look at this two different ways. We can run a Harry Potter off the level here, or we could run a continuation right here off this level. I think either of them are kind of valid trade setups. Overall, probably like this a little bit higher up here. And I think that's getting short. Actually, we take this down here. I think that's getting short at 86.52. So again, basically taking this old profit target, bringing it into a new sell area. And again, obviously both these markets are open tomorrow. It will be more European based, not so much obviously US because of the timing of it all. But I kind of like this one. I mean, the euro talking about, this and that and, all the flash numbers tomorrow. There's a lot more numbers for Europe than there is for the UK. We already know the UK is bad. So what are you going to do? Tell us it's even badder? We know that they're in a long recession. We know that they're at 10.7 or 11.1, whatever it was. But again, France, they have the potential to go down. They have the potential to kind of add a log to the fire here, where Germany are already in trouble, and I doubt a surprise there. The pound, they're already bad. It's not really adding a log to the fire. That's what's already predicted. So I think this is where the big risk is right now in the euro pound. So it kind of meets the narrative there to continue this one to the downside. Being at 86, we're kind of right in the middle of the range. The range for this one, typically, my opinion is anywhere from 83 to 88 tends to be the range for this one. Obviously, things have changed now that, Brexit has happened and maybe a new range is established. But, 88 to 89 seems to be on the high side. 82, 83 seems to be on the ultra low side for this one. So, again, we're kind of right in the middle, so we don't even really necessarily have any ability to use a kind of like the curve on this one to give us a bias one way or the other. But that's one potential setup is sitting right here. We'll throw this on. Right there. And you're talking like 8 pips risk because you're like 8 for like 25, not a major position there at all. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen. We had talked about this level and being concerned about it because we had hit it so many times. We did. It hit and then it went higher again. And then all of a sudden right there's where your failure came in. So again, it was another level that we were looking at. We mentioned that, hey, listen, it's going to be hard to get a true level of risk if we can get a new top in there. We did actually get the new top. I mean, that's what we see kind of right here. This ascending candles. This is typically one of the formations that we were looking for. That was formed late last night. And then you can see it also happened to coincide with, the European Open, right? That 3 o'clock European Open time right there. And 1 to 3 is right there. So one of those things a little bit too late now, but in retrospect, looking back, had you been trading the European Open, which again, if you have the ability to trade it, it is an awesome time to trade. It's like one of those things like eventually I will end back up in Vancouver because I always told Melissa, like, yeah, once my kids are out, college, whatever, I don't need to stay here, we can go back to Vancouver. Canada living is good, right? I can get maple syrup anytime I want, right? I can, deal with all that kind of stuff. I can start saying A all the time whenever I have a question about something. And eventually I guess I will go. I don't know. I don't know if anybody on the broadcast is from Canada, but if you know anybody from Canada, they do say A lot. Melissa's doing her US citizenship stuff right now. And I told her, I was like, mine will be easy, right? All I got to say is maple syrup hockey A. And I'll get in, right? I'll get my citizenship. She's like, it's not that easy. I was like, well, that's good because I know literally nothing about Canada. I'm like, I know nothing besides those 3 things. So if I can't say those 3 things and get through, I'm in trouble. But anyway, again, European session, if you were trading it, great little trade setup. Right now, I would say be cautious. We did find buyers and there was a little bit of a pop. There's a level here. Don't like the formation as much. But on the broad spectrum of things, if we kind of take this from, I guess we could use it here, but really this is a new downtrend. So the correct way to do it, we say, hey, listen, there's the top, there's the bottom. We're floating right between the 50 and 61. So, and Rush. Yeah, right. Rush and Ron Reynolds, right? Ron Reynolds is from Vancouver. Actually, many of like the new generation of like movie stars are all from like BC, right? We're from BC, right? Yeah, they all, for some reason, they all live there. I don't know. They all come from that. I guess the movie industry, I guess, is pretty big there. Like all like the CW and like all those kinds of things, they're all filmed in Vancouver. I didn't realize that it was, Hollywood version 2.0, but basically it is. When you look at it, you're like, yep, we filmed this in BC. Like, was that Supernatural? If you guys know what that is, it had like 18 seasons or something like that. Supernatural it was all filmed up in BC and Vancouver, and a lot of movies are, I guess. I guess because obviously exchange rate helps, right? There's many reasons, but yeah. So yeah, BC, right? But yeah, so Neuro. I'm going to add that to the list, right? I'm going to add that to the list. Maple syrup, hockey, A, and rush. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to move in with you. So that's where we're at right now. Understand there will be some buying pressure coming in. Again, we are seeing movement with the yen right now, but I think tomorrow with the euro pound being in an area where we're looking for it to go down, this could also continue to deteriorate. If you want a soft level that is confirmed, there is a soft level that's confirmed down here. It's almost a full retracement, but it comes in at approximately 144.47. Okay, dropping down to the pound dollar. Pound dollar yesterday morning. Actually, that was Monday. Actually, yesterday was Monday. Imagine that. So yesterday's bottom was really right down here. We talked about it being our profit target. It was literally, right now with it being kind of retracing back again. We talked about not having a lot of levels in here that we were really kind of huge fans of, right? There wasn't really much that was explosive in here. Probably all the way back up top is the first time we really have any decent confirmations. If you wanted to run us top to bottom, you can see that we've already kind of just sliced through. The 50 provided a little bit of benefit from yesterday, although it did get front run and pushed back down. And then the 61.8 got pushed back down. Kind of was one of the ones we were trying to find a top to this one. And the top was kind of ugly. Right, the top was kind of ugly. So right now, again, I don't really like anything until 119.38. If you want to take this in the other direction, so look for a trend continuation. We are at a level right now. Let me pull this off. You can see right now we are at a 23, and you can see there is some movement in here. So the question is, will we continue to get some pound strength and dollar weakness in here? I think it's possible. I just don't feel like there's enough factors right now. Maybe with the 3 speeches in the next 3 hours or whatever, maybe we can get something in here. But I just don't feel like there's really enough out there right now, and enough volume and enough big money out there to really be majorly controlling this. So European session was basically just straight up with a couple of those little kickbacks, right? It started here. So again, straight up, we kicked back at 5:30, we pushed up, and then we session rolled, and now we're seeing the dollar strength cut back in, which again, very popular, reversal pattern. Up in one, down in the other one. So take it for what it's worth. If anything, right now, we're kind of in an uptrend setup, but there's not really any decent levels in here that I'm really in love with. If I had to pick one where I'd say, hey, listen, uptrend setup, Brian. I got it. 4-hour chart. I like it. I like the way it's moving. It's pulling back on the 30. What do we got here, right? I would say that this is probably the best level that we're looking for a long. The reason why I say it is because, again, there is a confirmation. It's a 1-candle bottom, popped up, came back down, tested, and took off. Why I don't like it is because that's about how much is left in there, because it pushed all the way down that deep. But again, if we mark off the original level, it is also backstopped by a 61.8, which is, a pretty good sign. You'd like to have that kind of backstopping in there. Again, that's quite a reversal back down again. But remember, when we're talking about larger time frames, it is what it is. In this one, same thing. We're talking about 54 pips. So what? 2 pips an hour, basically. And now it's retracing that 2 pips, right? The 2 pips in the direction we're looking for, it's retracing back again. So again, kind of the same thinking that this one is having problems because of the timing of everything and lack of any news. But again, tomorrow I think we could have some decent movement on this one. Maybe it provides some more opportunity in a lower interest rate environment, or a low news-based environment. Going across to the pound yen. All right, so pound yen looks very, very similar to what we saw in the Aussie yen. Actually, the euro yen, I'm sorry. We had a top that was finally put in. We were looking for this one to go higher. We talked about a level up here. We missed it by just a little tiny bit. You always hate when that happens. It's like, it's so close. But when you're looking at this one, you can see that there's definitely some basing going on here, right? So you could have drawn this one and said, hey, listen, there's your base, right? There's kind of your touch, and there you go. We just hit it a little while ago. Actually, what, 8. You could have maybe potentially got into it here, depending on how you drew your level. If you'd drawn off the candle here, you would have got your entry. It's okay. Overall, I would say that this one is, again, is there a major trend right now in the pound yen? Not really. I mean, it's definitely up. But you can see right now, here is our peak, and now we've not gotten as high, and we're starting to push lower again. So, the question is there going to be a trend change, in anticipation for tomorrow? I'd say it's highly likely right now. It is boxed in, and we drew this all the way up to this level yesterday. We missed it by, what did it turn out to be here? 9 pips. You know, you got to hate that when that happens. But once you started to see this, you're like, oh, look at that. Yeah, it is what it is. I will say down here at the 23.6, although we still have that level drawn, you can see that, right? You know, and again, I'll move it just by a little bit. It doesn't really change this at all, right? Doesn't change it at all. If we use this level or this level, right? The 23.6 now is also down here becoming an area to watch out for. It is backstop. There is higher here, and it did base and kind of popped off of it. So I'd say if price is able to rally back down again, particularly for news tomorrow morning, this could be a probable trade for news. I know news is super, super early for some people. And let's see. The pound news is 4:30. Here. Right? But what you could do is if price kind of moves itself over to here and you're going to bed, right? You can put a limit order in to be able to take yourself long for that type position. Okay? And again, this is a news-based trade. I forget what we're using for news. I guess we're going to use that, right? Something along right there, right? So when the news comes out. So it's an if this, then that. It's a decent sized level, about 19 pips. 19 pips is actually not horrible. When we're talking about something like the pound yen that has the ability, the daily ATR is 224. It is starting to lower, but it's still 224. Right? It is a big one. So, again, talking about a 20 pip risk on something this big, that's actually not horrible, right? And, you know, it's a decent setup, particularly because, again, there is yen news, there is pound news, both when the U.S. market is not open. So we'll be lower volume on there. But I'd say right now, if this is the case, if we drive down to this level, we'd be looking to go long pre-news and go up. Okay? Dollar CAD. So, yesterday, the peak was at 11 o'clock. Actually, I guess 10:30 is where it peaked, and then the peak candle, like where it basically turned and officially reversed, was actually at 11 o'clock. So the high was between that probably 10-15-ish time frame. So super, super close. And then it kind of came back and this kind of paused. Now, again, a lot of this has to do with what we saw in oil. Oil obviously up today where it was majorly down yesterday. Is that story done with? No, but I think it got over exaggerated yesterday. Again, it was a comment versus an actual move. Now, we were talking about price. If it was able to rally all the way up to 135, we did really like this small level here. Obviously, it didn't get a chance to do that. Oops, that's not the one I wanted to move. I wanted to move this one and bring it down to this level. So it does change where the 50's at. You can see there was a little bit of a front run. In looking at the dollar CAD, again, this is a lot of CAD strength. Is it justified? Not really. So what I'd like to see is what happens when we get here. If we can put a bottom in and then come up and give a kind of a failure, kind of that confirmation entry, I think that could be decent. If we drive in there and we start basing, you could put a number 3 entry on this one. If you did a number 3 when it's leaving the zone, I think that makes a lot of sense also. I would not use it as a number 1 hit, right? Number 1 is what we take is when we're entering in. It's a fast strike kind of entry. I don't think we do that on this one. Again, it is counter trend. It's not reversing back. It's got a little bit farther before we get the artificial algorithms in, just based off of the top being a little bit different. So, I love it now, and I think a lot of this one is going to be oil based right now. Okay. Now, can we roll over back to 133? Potentially. I mean, like I said, this is CAD strength. Do we have like amazing CAD strength coming in? I mean, looking at CAD strength today, right? It's like, oh my God, is that great for CAD? No. And a lot of people see that and think it's an easy sell. So, seeing the movement that we are, I don't think it's, it's okay, right? It's all right. Is there that much of a difference between minus 0.6 to minus 0.7? No, not really. So, not really, not concerned about that one. I think overall this one does find a bottom and needs to go up. As I said, the data has been decent, right? The data has been decent for, oops, hold on, I hit the button again. Sorry. The data has been decent, right? For the CAD, right? But nothing to where it's like, that's it, we're raising another 75. I don't think CAD's getting another 75, sorry. I think that ship has sailed. I think the CAD's going to start slowing down now, right? Based off their data. So, again, if we can potentially get a number 3 in there, sure, go for a number 3. But I don't think you're, overall, I'm not liking any of the CAD setups. Dollar Swiss. also reversing back. So the reverse yesterday came in at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see it did the 5:30 reversal, and if you missed that 5:30 reversal, again, when there's a confirmation, you did get a 3 o'clock in the afternoon hit. Now, had you got into that trade, right? Now, again, we talked about this one being a little bit bigger risk, but we did like the fact that there was a confirmation in there. It's about, and when I say big, I'm talking big for this pair, not big in general, right? This one had a 17 pip worth of risk, and there's what your trade looks like. And again, that's why finding that confirmation is so important. Okay. Let's see. Right now, I think it's important to look at 95. Again, we have a nice little candle formation there. We talked about this yesterday. We've kind of bounced off of it a bit already. I like the fact that we got front run on it, but I don't know if it's going to pull back based off of what we're seeing here. I'm very leery for that area too. I'm very leery to take it for a short from there because we have buyers sitting right below it. Let's see something here. Actually, let's see. I can probably make that a little bit better. Yeah. I can tell the kip spin on the keyboard. 7. Yeah, it's not horrible. Right there. You can tell the kip spin up here. There's obviously dust like in the mouse. Trying to move like the fine line, it was just not moving. All right, let's go back up to 30. Actually, I think I'm wearing this mouse out. I think I'm gonna have to get a new mouse. Maybe I'll go downstairs and steal one of my kids. They're gonna be happy about it. Come on, you can move. Yes, I feel like this one is getting to the end of its life cycle. Yeah, so that level probably not horrible. Oops, I just want this. It's right there. Yeah, 95.51. Right, 95.51ish level. It's all right. I'm somewhat okay with it. I want to say that like, yeah. I'm looking at him like, I could be sold on that level. I could be sold on that one. Probably the best opportunity we have on this one right now. Like I said, 95, we could potentially get a bounce, but I think we probably base back and forth, and at least until tomorrow. I don't think we're going to get any major movement today out of this one. But again, if you're able to grab the last one, again, this is my problem with the Swiss. It tends to be a little bit slow. It can be like watching paint dry sometimes, and that's kind of what we got on this one. And watching it, it moved, and then it just slow, and then finally moved. It was like, oh God. And then really this was 3 small moves. Right, it was that was kind of a grind, but yeah, it is tiny. 3 small, like 20 pip, 20 pip, 20 pip until we got out. So yeah, not bad. But just know that's where the 50 is on that one. The pound, dollar yen. We were looking, and now this was one yesterday we talked about, hey, listen, if we can get a break out of the top, and I didn't know if we'd be able to or not. We talked about where the profit target was coming in. Obviously, my leveling here was not correct. My leveling should have been there. We ended up missing it. So the high yesterday was right around 12 o'clock, and we did put a decent top, and it got a reversal. Now, it did pull back. Here's what the pullback looks like. You can see that, again, poor fib traders, this is not a horrible level, right? This is not a horrible level, right? If you take this one off and box this off, you can say, well, that's a nice little 23.6. It got sliced through at base and came back, and then it's now looking like it's going to be a top for us. So overall, I think this one continues to fall based off of what we're seeing on the other pairs with the yen. I would say look for this one to be targeted down here, probably around the 50, although conservatively, maybe in this area right here, 140.71. That's about, 60? Yeah, about 60 pips lower than where we are right now. It's all right. We were looking for a little bit of a reversal, and we talked about coming back down. Trying to think, would I take a long off that level? There's a potential long in there for tomorrow. For right there. It's a potential long right there. So, yeah. So right now, what I would do for this one, if you guys are looking for, again, things to keep on your radar, right? There's one up top. Again, love the fact that we hit it again, didn't go far, touched it again. Think that's great. All over that one. Yeah, so that'd be on the watch list. A break of 142.42. Looking for 142.29 on the top side. If we come back down, I think, again, look to take profit in this 140.70 area. But there is the potential, again, because we are backstopped by the 61.8 to find buyers down in this level. I'd like to see what happens when we hit. I'd like to see a kind of a fair to go lower. I want it to hit, kind of come back up again, and then fail. And then, obviously, you take the buy on that other side of it. So that one's decent. I'm okay with it. But right now, obviously, I'd be in the short. A little hiccup area there, but I think overall this one continues to deteriorate based off of what we're seeing, particularly because of the yen and a bunch of pairs. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did break below 16. It was actually at down here below 15,500. I saw something that it was, I think $1.4 trillion has been wiped out of that market so far this year, just this year in Bitcoin. Yeah, quite a lot. But yeah, it's like 2-year low or something like that. As far as cryptos go, I watched one video and now I keep getting the YouTube videos, right? For it's guys basically trying to sell, making fun and trolling guys trying to sell crypto rigs. So like, oh, it's only been used for a month. It's like, dude, you haven't been using it for a month. You would have been costing yourself a ton of money. And they're charging like $5,000 for a system that if you broke it down into piecemeal, even buying things new would cost you less than $1,000. People are selling them for $5,000. It's like crypto rig. It generates this much Ethereum. Da, 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 da. Yeah, they're like, people are living in the past. So, yeah, pretty funny stuff. But Ethereum also coming back, but still well below. I mean, we're more close to the 1,100 mark, not even that 1,300 mark, which is big. And Dogecoin, it's holding firm a little bit, right? TLT put a little bit of work in yesterday. It did drop back down again. And then obviously in the overnight, we have that dollar weakness trade coming in on a bunch of different pairs out there. So we're seeing TLT rise in response to it. TLT, again, tends to follow gold as well. Because again, that's, gold bonds. That's kind of what you're talking about. It's inflation, fixed income, all that. But I will say based off technicals right now, we did have a gap in this level right here. We did just kind of bounce off of it. And with the weakness we just saw, is the Fed suddenly going to be like, that's it, inflation's controlled, that's it, we're good? No, we still know that we have more room to go. They're not done yet. So I would expect that, we get a comment of what the raise is looking like or them talking about slowing, not slowing. This is kind of a roll of the dice. I actually I can't come up with like a good educated guess on this one. The market wants a pause. That's what they want to hear. Right? They want to hear that the Fed is going to pause because inflation is great. Everybody's, what they did was awesome. They pat themselves on the back and, no problem. No, everything's done, right? But if they say we are not pausing, right? A non-pause with a 50-25-25, how does the market take that as hawkish? Or if they say we're going to do a 50-50 and then pause, like if they mention the word pause, right? Or does the market want to pause or does the market want to slow down? Like, is there going to be a difference with the market reaction to those two things, right? I feel like if the market acknowledges, if the Fed says, yep, we're going to do XX, we're going to do XYZ and then pause, I feel like the market's going to be like, oh my God, they're slowing down, they're pausing, right? Yeah, I feel like that would be more beneficial than if they say that, no, we're going to continue, we're going to do 50, 25, 25, and then we'll decide next year to see, what it looks like afterwards. Right? We already know they're going to hold it for a long time. So, they're not cutting rates, although a couple people have said that, they'll be cutting rates next year. Like, I don't know about that. But that's what people are saying. So anyway, TLT bonds, again, you can use this as a proxy for gold. Looking like it is in a scenario where we could be seeing, some shorts. And like I said, I've been saying shorts for a while. And again, we keep having small kickbacks, but we haven't had anything major market moving. I think that's pretty much at this point going to be reserved for an FOMC type response. But we get FOMC response tomorrow. All right. Looking at CL. So there's that crazy dip, and we talked about finding a bottom in this one and getting a reversal. Parabolic move down and parabolic move right back up again, and we just kind of went back up. And now we're at a level right now at that 81.90. That was an old target. That was target number one. We talked about not having enough room. We went right past that, and again, in a parabolic move, that can happen. But our second target got hit. Now with us back up, I mean, you can say right now, it's like, wait a second. This was at 75.50. That's, that's $6 of movement a day. Is this price stability? No. Not at all. I still don't know what the heck OPEC was saying. We haven't heard too much from it, but I think a lot of this still kind of really falls back to the China thing. So I think tomorrow this will have a little bit of movement. Tomorrow not really going to be a big deal as far as inventory and stuff like that goes, but I do think we will get a little bit of movement. And again, maybe we hear more about the tsunami and what it could do. Maybe that adds a little bit to it, but I don't think it'll be rather market moving. I think oil, for the most part, will be rather, again, unless there's a headline we can't get, I think rather flat on a technical basis. People will be looking at FOMC as well as, again, the U.S. market. It's going to be focused on eating turkey, eating some pies. That's going to be the big deal. Speaking of that, what kind of pies are you guys getting? My mother has made her normal pumpkin cheese pie, and Melissa wants an apple pie with like the crumb, the crumb, I guess I don't know, an apple crumb pie. I guess I know it's normally you say apple crumb cake, but an apple crumb pie. We're trying to figure out what else we should buy. We have an Amish market down the street, so we're not making these things just so you guys don't think that we're that domestic. We are absolutely buying them, right? Absolutely buying them, but they're Amish, so that must mean they're better, right? So yeah, we're getting Amish. Anyway, I do think we are in an area right now with all this movement up again. I do think this level right here has been proven. It is an old level. We've seen, what happens at these levels before. This could be the peak back up again at 10:30, and at this point, I'm actually looking at two potential shorts. One here, and again, I do think that 75 is a bit low, but I think we do have an area right now. Yesterday, I was looking to go long. Today, I'd be looking to go short in oil. I think either of those two is great. Again, it's going to be a demand-based story, and I'm not going to be surprised if, again, we do get some type of continued mention from some mention that China's either locking down or something else is happening. It could be the French manufacturing numbers as well. Once that shows that it's contracting there, that is more of a log on the fire for contraction of the European economy. That may show less demand as well, and that also may be some type of a fundamental factor, although a little bit far-reaching, that we're going to see a continued deterioration inside of oil. Okay. And this is something that I kind of called from before. After the election, I expected it to drop. I didn't expect OPEC to make the comment that they did, and I think people are looking at that being like, are they insane? Did he mean increase or decrease? I feel like, maybe the translator translated that one wrong. Maybe he actually meant decrease, right? Not increase, right? Which would be pretty funny. Natural gas. Now, natural gas is coming back. This is what we talked about yesterday. We ended up coming up at 12 o'clock. We talked about 761. Nice little pullback from that one. So, good top in this. Right now, if you're going to draw some fibs on this one, oops, I can just use this here. It did go a little bit higher. You can see that poor 23.6 got sliced through. Got a level just a little bit lower out there. And again, natural gas is one of those ones that's kind of funny. As I said, it's super cold. Funny, my neighbor got his boat out yesterday, and now we got, we got ice on everything. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it's the neighborhood exodus, right? The community dock was just basically emptied yesterday. Everybody all at once was like, all right, let's go. Take them all out. It's going to get cold. Even though I think technically right now they're safer in the water because the water at least provides somewhat of a warming effect right now versus being out in the air. The level up top, same 676. It's been proven. I may put it a little bit higher, but I think it's probably a decent level overall. Right now with what we're seeing, again, it's kind of had its run for today. I don't know unless there's a major headline. I did see something. Where's the headline? Interest rate restrict. Here we go. I'm curious to see if something comes out of this. They've talked about the gas, gas proposal. They're still kind of going, they're really big into this cap thing, right? Yeah. I think on a fundamental level, I think natural gas has the ability to pop if it needs to. But for the most part, I think we have a lot of selling come in at 680. So if you recalled it yesterday, you got a nice little run. After that, right now, I don't think there's much more out of it. I think we base and it starts to get really slow. But with that contraction, if we do have the French data as well showing a contraction, that should also help lower it. Again, anytime you have an economy contracting, you tend to see, again, things like natural gas, particularly in the European theater, also take a little bit of a hit to price. So, it's not bad. Maybe we get something out of it tomorrow. Okay. Gold. Now, gold, we kind of had that Harry Potter yesterday. The reality is we're still kind of stuck in that same level, right? If you had taken this from that original, you probably would have got stopped out. The original trade for this one, when we put this on, is if you base it off the near-term level, should have been here and there. That's where your level should have been. Your 1 to 3 is right there. Right there's 1 to 3. Unfortunately, it did not. It didn't get out. It pipette. It literally pipette ganged it with gold, right? It's like wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it was so close, right? So close. And actually, I guess on this one, it's because I'm off on the draw a little bit. Hold on, get the draw there. There's the draw, and the 1 to 3 is right there. It didn't hit it. I can tell you right now, depending on which one I look at. It didn't hit it. It was super close. All we did is we came back up in the same level, and we're still stuck there. So the reality is, in 24 hours, we're basically just flat. It's not enough movement. Going into tomorrow, I'd like to see what the European session does with this one. Remember, tomorrow's a very big day with FOMC speaking. FOMC is coming in, not Thursday, Wednesday at 14:30, right there. Oh, actually at 14, sorry. It's right at 2. I'd like to see where we are on this one. I think if I had to make a call, I mean, ideally, I'd like to be short gold beforehand, but I want to see what the European market does with it. If the European market sends this, the strength in early, then absolutely we're not looking to, we want to make sure we're on the right side of this trade. The Europeans should give us an idea where we're going with it. Like I said, it's too early right now. We're over 24 hours in advance. I don't think any of the the services or manufacturing data is going to affect this one. Overall, still, I feel like, we're looking for, gold shorts at this point. But yeah, and that's just my opinion on this one. I think gold overall is just one of those things that we're looking to get short. Silver, you can see silver has taken a much bigger increase. We unfortunately missed the bottom side. It came in at actually, that was yesterday. We were sitting right here yesterday. We talked about 21. You can see it broke through 21, came back, used 21, came back and touched 21 again. Overall on this one, let's see, are we getting some help from 50? We are not, but there is something there. It's a shame it got front run. 2150 is where that's at. It's probably a decent area. It's not horrible for tomorrow. Kind of the same thinking with gold. If these two turn sour quick, silver will turn sour even faster. It'll be a much bigger move to the downside. Yeah, again, we got it. It's just, I think it's too early. I think we need to wait for the European session, and then once we get the European session, we'll get a move. But here, I'll mark this one off as well. Wednesday at 14, right there. Right, so we got some room. That could be a potential short from there. If we pull up to here, if we're sitting here, that could be a potential short, absolutely, for tomorrow. But we'll talk from now till then. So, Apple. As you can see, we took that big drop yesterday, and then we kind of maintained. Once we hit 1030, we just kind of held. Tesla, again, went down, kind of gapped, and did the same thing. It hit all the targets there. Let's check to see what we have opening print-wise here. We know we had some major movement, but the reality is we're just stopping people out. So, let's see. Let's extend this across. Oof, I think it missed. It did. Wah, wah, wah. Well, you may, on your broker, you may have gotten into this one. Depending on who your broker is, right? Depending on who your broker is, you may have gotten in and out already. right? I can tell you right now on this data feed, it did not get in. But there's where the opening print was. We knew we were up in a level up top. We had talked about this level, but really, really hard to draw any type of good risk in there. It's all wicks, right? It's all wicks. We want some type of stability with this one. So not much we could do. It was kind of basing up here. You had to look at this and be like, yeah, it's kind of set up for more of a short at the open. But if you were looking for kind of a pullback for a trend continuation, obviously we were sitting in an uptrend. You have these higher highs in here. You already had higher lows brought in. Right there, you were like, yep, it's gone higher. Looking for a pullback, it did. It pulled back right into the zone. There's where it is, and you just missed it by a little bit. So again, depending on your broker, it missed by, I mean, just the smallest, you guys can see. It missed by just the smallest of areas. And again, if you were trading options, you could have looked at that level and said, yep, there's one that makes sense price-wise for me, and gotten in. If you did get in, you hit your 1 to 3 already. You're already out to the top side, as you should be, because there's some sellers here as well as there's sellers up top. So I'd be a bit cautious with this one. Overall, though, with lack of any news in FOMC tomorrow, I think it makes complete sense that these are all in the green today. I don't think that any of them are going to have record-breaking days today. So it makes sense that they are green today. If they're green today, they have more of an ability to be red tomorrow. And if they are driven up in the European session, right? Once we get an idea what the Europeans want to do with it, I think that also gives us a potential for a trade setup for tomorrow morning. Now, opening print tomorrow morning, I do actually kind of like it. I think it has the ability to be pretty decent. Just because, again, it's going to be kind of an initial early rush, and then it's like, okay, everybody wait till 2 o'clock. Let's see what FOMC has to say. So as far as an entry goes, I'm not going to count this into the statistics. We're not going to, again, could you have gotten into this one? Yeah. On that pullback, it would have been close depending on your broker and what the data is. The prices tend to be the same, but sometimes the candle times are a little bit different, so the candles are drawn slightly different. So you may have gotten an entry into this one. It's not impossible. But as far as this goes, it's not going to count on here. As far as NQ goes, now, NQ is in a very interesting spot. Again, we're looking for kind of more of somewhat of a pullback. Yesterday, we talked about the low basically being 13,530. You can see right here at 3:30 in the morning, it just did. It just continued to deteriorate all day. The profit target was hit, okay? It's an okay bottom. It's not really one I want to kind of draw anything off of. If anything, I would say yes, it is more in a sell area. Unfortunately, we really didn't have anything clean in here because, again, the same thing with the wicks up there. If you're going to look at this one, maybe on a 5, I could draw that one. I didn't. Just so everybody knows, I did not draw it. Whoops, I'll delete that. I'd be looking at something along those lines probably. Again, there's your 2 confirmations. Kind of got one there again, and again, this is already too many hits. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's a 4. So if anything, I would say that I'd be more bearish thinking at the open. Once it popped above, let's see, what time was that? 9:15. You could have drawn it this way. Your 9:30 candle is here. So I guess off the new high, you actually probably could have hit this one. Obviously, I did not trade it. Just in transparency, I did not trade this one this morning. I had to take Jen to school and everything, so I literally ran back in right before we started and got everything online. So full transparency, I'm not trying to tell you that as I thought this one. Did not catch this one, but you absolutely could have. There's your candle right there. There's your base. On the 15, could we have gotten it? Yeah, it pulled away. You were looking for a pullback. Do we take the reversal now, though? Nah, at this point, I mean, again, we talked about the profit target being there. We've hit it twice now. I think we look for this one to come up to 11,687. Thing is, we're definitely in a spot where reversal could come in right now. Oof, it's there. I'm like looking at it's like, oh, has it moved too much? I feel like it's moved too much. It's like, oh, kind of left without us. Yeah, it's there. So, yeah, I mean, this is definitely one you could have taken at the open. So, I mean, I'm going to count this one because you can see we had the base on the 5 minute. So, I mean, it's definitely, that was a legit one. As far as the reversal goes, it's definitely at a reversal spot now too. But I think as far as the next 24 hours go, if we can get up to 11,678 or 87, I think we take one off of here. This one, we're going to see whether or not it's a new level. As far as the 11,527 holding, I think you'd be extremely cautious with it at this point. It's already hit it twice. I wouldn't say that there's probably many sellers left in there, probably a little bit, but I think the risk on it is starting to get higher and higher and higher. So, yeah, just I think we're at the stage where it's kind of like, you just let this one go. So yeah, opening print, but nothing else. But again, it is at a reversal level. As far as this one goes, let's go back up. We're on the 15 right now. There's your 930 candle. The problem with this one, again, we're all wicks. You can see that the level we talked about yesterday worked out just fine. Problem is, we knew that this is what we were dealing with. We don't really have any good levels. Got all these wicks up here. And again, if we extend this all the way up to where the actual wicks were, right? That's what we ran into. And that's what we're sitting at right now. So, could we take this for a reversal? I'd say we're in the right range, right? You're at the right time. You're at the right level. There could be a potential reversal if you still need something for today. I think it's really going to start getting slow. So, just a bit of caution with that one. I don't think there's too much more in this one, but I'd say reversal. Yeah, it's in a reversal time. You could take a reversal from this if you really wanted to. And it coincides with what we're seeing in the NQ already as well. But as far as opening print goes, we were sitting kind of in the middle of nowhere right here. So no opening print for that one. Russell, we saw what Russell looked like ahead of time. It came up and peaked, and we knew we had this. I'm going to tell you right now. Here, I'll move this over. This is what we're looking at. That's what we're dealing with. Are we taking a risk zone in this? No. I mean, I guess you could have drawn one here and said, yep, there you go. We've touched it. But there's where the level was. If you extend this all the way across, you can see here's where the open was. You were there. Are we hitting it now? Yes. It's the same reversal that we're seeing the other three. So just a bit of a zone that's confirmed. So not an opening print, 1030 reversal. Yeah, it's, we were 1 for 4 as far as the opening print goes. As far as the reversal goes, we're 3 for 4. So kind of where we are, guys. It just, day before FOMC, what are you going to do? Right? That's kind of all we got. I think the biggest things, as I said, I think tomorrow morning we get a little bit of help. And again, we're finally getting a bit of movement here, but it's just, you can see it's green, but it's retracing, right? Red, trying to retrace a little bit. There's not really any major direction. And look, the pound yen was 80. Now it's 57. And we got obviously the dollar weakness cranking in a little bit. Finally, right? Dollar weakness and pound strength. Kind of the name of the day today. So we'll see. All the speeches are just getting ready to kick in. Today's speeches obviously start at 11, 2:15, 2:45. I think the one that has the ability to move it the most. Again, probably Mester's at 11, right? And we already have some data of what Mester's going to say. So I think Mester has the ability to bring the dollar strength rolling back in the most. And that's going to come in about the next 30 minutes. So we should see probably some reversals from that. All right, let's go ahead and do the giveaway for the day. Say, who we got in here today? We got Mitch in here today. Ernest is lagging today, I guess. We got Will. We got Debbie, Marina. We got Jeff. We got Sean. Looks like we're good. Ernest is the only one missing. All right, maybe Ernest logged in as Mitch today. Maybe not. Right? Could be. I will give him 30 seconds longer. Right? And again, I'm assuming that he's busy. I think last year, Ernest cooked like something ridiculous. I think he cooked like 30 turkeys last year for some event. Ernest is Mitch. Maybe. No, he's probably literally behind a grill right now, or oven, or smoker, or actually 2 days ahead of time, Ernest is probably creating brines for everything that he can get his hands on. Yeah. Is probably what's happening. Oops. Sorry. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. What is this? Okay. Sorry. I'm just trying to check. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Okay. Let's close it down. Yeah, he's probably cooking today. So, all right, winner of today's drawing is, and again, as Nora would say, if Ernest doesn't win, we all win. Winner of today's drawing is Jeff. There you go, Jeff. And then yesterday it was Sean. So where everybody's passing around. It's like the ultimate Thanksgiving treat. Where the heck is Jeff? Jeff, I'm saying you're right here. All right, give you your 25. Jeff making steady progress. Yeah, it's bad. Nero's like, it's rigged. I love when Nero says that. All right, so with that said, I am out of here. Tomorrow morning, again, the news that we're looking at, I think we get some movement here coming in at 2:45 today. And like I said, this is what we're dealing with tomorrow morning. I think the big potential for some movement tomorrow morning is going to be the flash data coming in negative. If they drop below 50, what does that tell us? It tells us that, again, the French army, the French economy is contracting. And again, that gives us some potential trade for tomorrow. So, all right, that said, I am out of here. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. If you guys are not going to be here for tomorrow morning, I will wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. All right. So, have a good one. I'll see you then.